Welcome to the Encore Audio Archives YouTube channel. I'm Taper Dave, and this is my channel. I've uploaded hundreds of talks here that I've recorded at meetings in West LA, and I've also recorded conventions starting in 2013. I've got a bunch of those up. And Walt and Mary Murray, the original owners of Encore Audio Archives, started the company in the 80s, and Walt recorded Joe and Charlie's and a bunch of stuff down in Vista, California. My sobriety date is June 20th of 1994. I hope you find something you like, so please like and subscribe to my channel and comment down below. If you want to hear something that I don't have or that you don't see, I'll see that I get it. Anyways, take care and have a great day if you want to.
All right, this is a one-speaker meeting. Please welcome our speaker tonight, Scott.
All right, that's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking about.
Hello, everybody. My name is Scott, and I'm an alcoholic. And truer words were never spoken. I'm going to tell you that right now. I am in the right place with you sick fuckers. That's true. And thank you, Richard, for asking me to speak. I've known Richard practically my whole sobriety. When I had about 4 months, I went down to CA to get a phone shift, and I thought there'd be this line outside the door waiting for training, you know, so I got down there early, and nobody showed up to train me. It's just the way it kind of works in CA. There's a lot of commitments, and so I hung out in CA a lot. But for my sobriety, I came to AA, because that's kind of where it's at, you know. I mean, steps are steps, and when it came time for first, I don't want to jump around too much. I share a lot. I got a bunch of panels and stuff. So, but you know, I have no like canned pitch. So, if that's what you're looking for, later. And you go talk to the guy out there, you know, who says, "Hey, everything's fucking great if you come out and use." I like that. And Yolanda, thank you for sharing, and happy birthday, man. I heard what I needed to hear at the meeting already tonight. You know, is that you know, I make a commitment every day when I wake up that today I'm not going to get high. You know, I have 21 years. I got sober in 1987, and every day I wake up, and you know what? My disease is waiting for me when I wake up. You know, I don't know about you guys, but it's waiting for me because I wake up in my bed thinking my wife is next to me. I'm in my house. My kids are down the hall. My cars are in my driveway, on my street. You know, I take my way to work, to my work. You know, it's like the whole planet is mine, and you people are just using my shit, you know? It's that, because I am, like I said, I am an alcoholic, and you guys that are new, like the 500 of you that took the newcomer chips, you know, thank you for being here, okay? You need to be here. It's not a mistake. When I got here, I heard a guy at Ohio Street one night. It was really late, and it was raining outside. There was only like 10 people there because it was windy and shit. You know, people hate to come out because we never scored drugs when it was raining and windy. I would not. You did? What? So this guy he was talking about how. That's so funny. We're talking about any length. And again, Yolanda, thank you for the any length thing, you know, because that, you know, I went to a great length to get high. But this guy was talking about how he heard it from a speaker when he was new. And all these people have gotten sober before him. And the guy, like, had this horrendous life, and he had all this time. And the guy said to him, well, I just woke up one day and I said, why not me? You know, and then the guy said to the guy who I was listening to when he was new, and the guy had like 1 million years at that time, so he goes, why not you? Why won't this work for you? You know? And so he said to the people in the room, why not you? How come it worked for me and it won't work for you? There is no reason, because we're not reinventing the wheel here. We are not original alcoholics and addicts here. You know what I mean? I'm sorry to tell you this, but I'm going to break some hearts here tonight. But you know all that shit you did when you were out there that you don't want to write down and share to somebody? Somebody already did that, okay? I don't care if you were driving to Palm Springs, smoking a crack pipe with a syringe hanging out of your arm, fucking a chicken. And I didn't say I did that. I just said there is no original sin in this room. And there's a lot of sobriety in this room. If Mickey Bush can stay sober, this fucking pain in the ass was sober when I got here.
My chicken died.
It's so funny because Richard and I were talking about resentments, you know? And it's funny because, like, we were talking about how sometimes when you're new and you get, you know, resentments are the killer, but boy, if you take a good resentment and you milk it just right and you put it in your pocket, you keep it just right, you say, you know what, he fucked me over, but I'm going to piss on his grave sober, you know what I mean? So, hey, you know, whatever keeps you sober today, you know, that works for me. That kept me going for a couple of years on a few guys, you know, because I got sober and clean, and a funny thing happened, like a lot of other people, they got sober and clean, and they didn't become honest. I was like, you know, so it took me a lot to learn that, you know, sometimes, and I heard this at a PAC group meeting from some old codger, said, you know what, some people get sober, and the only thing that changes is they have less dents in their car, you know? And that's a really old AA saying, you know? They're the same lying, cheating asshole they were when they were drinking, but they're sober, you know? So, you know, you just have to watch out for that. I mean, it's just like if, you know, around here we get an opportunity to be like them. There's us and there's them. We are bodily and mentally different, in case you didn't know. And you guys that are new, I want you to go home, strip down naked, and check your body to see how different you are from the rest of us, okay? Because you're not, okay? It's a trick. I'm going to tell you that, okay? So don't do that. But I mean, whatever, you know, if it keeps you sober, go ahead. You know, again, because there's us and them, and for me to come in here and say, you know, driving down the 10 at Palm Springs with a smoking crack, needle hanging out of your arms, fucking a chicken, doesn't fly at a PTA meeting, okay? And again, I'm not saying I tried it, but you know, when you're hanging out, I mean, I didn't get sober to have kids get married and be the upstanding citizen and insurance and taxpayer that I am, okay? But all of a sudden, I got that stuff, you know? Who would have thought? I didn't get sober to find her, you know, and get married. And I didn't get sober to have kids. You know, when I took my 30-day chip, that never crossed my mind. I was just kind of grateful not to be shitting and vomiting blood today, you know? That's where I was at when I was getting sober. It's a good day, you know? So, you know, when somebody asks me, hey, you want to be the coach of the baseball team, or the little fucking kids running around? It's like, you're like, me? You know? You obviously haven't been on the websites, you know, or whatever. I'm just kidding. I got that taken off the website a long time ago. So the joke used to be, you obviously haven't been to the post office recently and looked at the pictures on the wall. But, you know, all of a sudden, I'm this upstanding person, and I like working with kids and running around, and I seem to be okay at it, you know? I seem to be like this reborn person. I don't want to say reborn and all people go, oh, fucking Christian. Don't. I'm not that reborn, okay? It's just like the person that my grandparents knew I was. You know how your grandparents just like seem to love you more than your parents? Especially if your parents were like alcoholic like mine, you know? And you'd wake up in the morning and there'd be food all over the walls and the furniture would be on fire, you know? But your grandparents loved you, you know? And, you know, I'm that person. I'm a decent person today. You can trust me with your children. You can trust me with money, which is stupid. You know, considering like when I got here, you know, when there was a great line about I smoked crack once for 4 years, and my line is, again, it's my line because you're in my world now. So my line is like I did coke for 2 years and it did me for 5 more. You know, the first time I did cocaine was on my high school graduation. I had to go to this foreign country called Utah to go to high school, and it was fairly bizarre because I'm a local person here. I was born at what is now Brotman, You know that little old building that's out in front of Brotman? It's the doctor's offices now. That used to be the whole hospital, and that's where I was born. And I live in the house that I was brought home to now. I own it, which is just silly. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, just stay alive long enough, you'll get some shit, you know. But, I mean, but that's the trick, you know, staying alive. I mean, how many of us in here almost have died? 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, you know. Again, why not you? If you're new in this room, why, you know, there's a lot of sobriety in this room. You know, there is. And if you got 15 days, what makes you different from me tomorrow? What makes, the sun's going to come up, it's going to hit you in the face just like it hits me in the face. And what the fuck is the difference between you and me? You know, are you going to say, well, I might try the sobriety thing today? That's the difference between you and me. I'm not trying it anymore. I'm doing it. There is nothing that's going to make me get loaded today. Nothing. You know, I have too much love in my life. I have too many beautiful things in my life. I can't believe how much I love kids. I love my kids more than I loved Coke. I love kids more than I love Foster's Lager or 151. Okay? That's how much I love my kids. I just can't believe that that's in my life. And the only reason it's in my life is because of those fucking steps in that book. That's it. Those are the tools for me to deal with them out there, with it, you know? That's how I deal with it. There's tools there to use. There's tools in here to use. You know, a funny thing happens when you do those dopey things that are suggested around here that have been working for fucking, what, 75 goddamn years, you know? A funny thing happens, like your life gets better, you get a little less angry at everybody, including yourself, you know? And you actually find some people to travel the path on, you know, with, like Richard. Richard and I are friends, you know? He handles my insurance. He's not that great at it, but he's my friend, you know? Guy's got to make a living, right? You know, and I saw Mike. Mike doesn't even remember me because at one point I fucking had some hair. So he was like, who the fuck is this guy? You know, and he and I, like, we were, oh God, there was that promises meeting at Brotman and fucking resentment. Some guy got a coffee maker and said, fuck this place, let's go. And we got a place to have it. And we're having meetings inside of a paint shop. And we're all like fucking dying from the fumes and shit, you know? We're all like, Cal, open the fucking window, man, you know? But, you know, at the beginning, it's great. If you're new, just go every day. Because, you know, she talked about hope. You know, a funny thing happened. I mean, it took me like 9 months to get 30 days because I was using this pamphlet, As Scott Sees It. You might have seen it. It's on the rack in the back there. Don't really, you know, you shouldn't really go by it because it's pretty fucked up. It really doesn't work. So it's 1 page, you know. It's kind of a foldover, but the inside's blank. And so As Scott Sees It was like, you know, I'll go to a meeting like on Wednesday. Okay, I got to get my court card signed anyway, you know. So I'll go to a meeting on Wednesday, and then, you know, maybe I'll try to catch one on the meeting on the weekend, you know. And the funny thing would happen is, like, I'd go to the meeting. Of course, I didn't talk to anybody because you guys were fucked up, and I didn't really want to deal with this whole chanting and weird stuff and stabs and all that stuff. But I'm here to get my court card signed, and I would go, and then, you know, funny thing would happen is I wouldn't get loaded that night, you know, and sometimes Thursday I wouldn't get loaded either. You know, and then maybe Friday morning I wouldn't get loaded. And lunchtime by Friday, I, you know, got a bottle of wine going, and then it starts up, you know. Because I don't know about you guys, but my using is like, you know, when you're watching the Roadrunner and the Coyote, and the Coyote, like, plants some explosives to blow up the fucking Roadrunner, and then something happens wacky, and the Coyote's got the explosive strapped to his ass, but he's already lit the fuse, you know. Once I light the fuse, and you know, I really, I mean, for me, I need simple visuals for my sobriety. And I got a picture of the Coyote blowing out the fucking fuse, and of course, it won't blow out. You know, he's stomping on it, he's pouring water on it. Well, that's the way I use. And my fuse goes until something bad happens. You know, that's the way I use. I use that way for a very long time. Okay, so when I wake up in the morning and I'm thinking about how powerless I am, I think back to how powerless I am. How simple is that phrase? Are you honest with yourself about how powerless you are every morning? Are you an alcoholic or an addict, whatever, jacket you want to wear? Are you going to admit to yourself how fucked up you are behind drugs and alcohol? How you can't do it? I heard a guy at Ohio Street. I heard a lot of stuff at Ohio Street. I was listening at Ohio Street, and this guy named Danny, and a lot of you know him. And I'm sitting there listening to him, and he was talking about, now I just lost my train of thought. Fuck. It's Danny T. I know, I'm talking about Danny T. I remember that. So, powerless, thank you. That still doesn't help, But I'm glad some of you are listening, because it's... Oh, I'm sorry. But, if I wake up and I'm honest with myself, and I tell myself, remind myself, the way I used, I can't lie to myself in the mirror anymore. Funny thing happened when I was doing cocaine, or when cocaine was doing me, is that I stopped shaving looking in the mirror. Okay? You know what I'm saying? I couldn't look at myself in the mirror in the morning after I'd been on a run. You know what I mean? The next day? Because my self-esteem was in the toilet. It wasn't in me. And I could not look. So I started shaving in the shower. I shave in the shower to this day. Fortunately, I had my bathroom rearranged so I can see myself in the shower and shave. But that's, again, a gift of sobriety right there. So, when you come around here and you start going to meetings, you get this thing, it goes from one meeting to the next, and it's called hope. A funny thing happened the last time I got loaded. I come to and I go, why can't I get 30 days? How come it works for everybody else? And I heard that fucker's voice in my head. Why not me? Why not me? And why not me? I'm not going to a meeting every day. Isn't that what everybody tells you? 90 and 90? Well, I can't commit to that, but I'll go 30-30. 90-90 sounds like eternity. I don't know. You guys with like 2 weeks, it's like fucking 90 days. Jesus Christ. Woo! I'm not even buying a T-bill for that amount, you know what I mean? So it's like, I have trouble with a mortgage. So, I just said to myself, okay, I've heard this forever. I've been going to meetings for 12 years because I had to, for the court. And it's like, stop laughing. Those fucking cards were important. No, I'm kidding. Just kidding. So I'd leave a meeting and have the hope. So why is it that I don't put that together? It's like if I want to stay drunk for a week, I drink every day. If I want to have a really long party, I buy a bigger bag of dope. So why don't I string this together? And 30 days from that morning, I woke up and I was going to get a real 30-day chip. Not that I'd taken any bogus, but, I was going to get a 30-day chip. And it was a Thursday night. I was going to Cedars, which was like kind of my home group, even though nobody knew who the fuck I was. I just showed up and I didn't talk because I don't like, and I'm sure Mickey can attest to this. Anybody who speaks, and goes to meetings, like, I didn't get here and I was Mr. fucking happy. Like, hey, yippee-yi, I'm fucking sober, I would show up in a little jacket that had a torn lining so I could shoplift, and then I had a briefcase, that looked like I knew what I was doing, but I actually just carried my lunch in it, I was riding the RTD, and, I had a little JOB that I was working for my family because they're the only people that wouldn't fire me from stealing from them, But they were getting close. And because at one point I got kicked out of the business. They said, you know what, you get rid of the kid or we're going to get rid of your business. The landlord said to my family. And they're like, the kid, they all looked at me and said, later, So, see ya, that's just 30% more is going to be in the cash register with you gone anyway. So, so I started going to meetings like every day, and I was getting this 30-day chip this night. I show up, I got up and the day went by like so fast. I was like a 6-year-old on Christmas morning. It's fucking, I'm getting a 30-day chip. I wasn't walking around saying that. Fuck, how embarrassing. Like talking to customers. Hi, thank you very much. I'm getting a 30-day chip today. So I actually, about 10 a.m. was thinking, fuck, today would be a great day to have a joint. And I'm thinking, no, that's not the right thing to think. So I go to the meeting and I sit there, right? Because hey, it's celebration. So I go to the meeting and I'm sitting there and I Cedars used to have that big, or it still does, at Thalians. It has a stage and then the podium, like much higher than this. And that was a long walk up to those stairs. And I get around, I look, and I'm like, I don't know what I say. Just fucking get your chip. It's the guy with the core cards. Get him off the stage. It felt like a little fucking hook come and take me off the stage. Sit down. So I'm sitting there, and it's like one of those weird things. I heard more people share that night. I heard what they said. And I noticed a lot more laughter in the room. And then at the end, they're like, who's going to clean up? And I didn't raise my hand. I thought I should clean up or something. I should help or something. So I went into the kitchen and I cleaned out one of those big fucking coffee urns and I mopped the floor. And then nobody had done the butts outside, so I went and did the butts outside. And I didn't mind. It was like, I felt like, like I owned a piece of that meeting now. You know what I mean? Like I was invested in it. And I go down to the bus stop. I didn't talk to anybody while I'm doing this. I just grabbed the fucking broom and I just went outside and did it. I didn't talk to anybody. I hated doing the sweeping. You sweep up and you put the butts in and somebody fucking drop one right after you. You fucking want to hit them with a goddamn. You know what I mean? It's like with the newcomer, you got to be careful with the newcomers. You know what I mean? Because there was many times I want to take a broomstick and just stab somebody with it. And especially at Ohio Street, you're sweeping out Ohio Street, and you got that's a lot of butts outside. And somebody puts one down right behind you. You just want to, you fucker, God, you got such quality time, So, so I get on a bus. I get home to my little, I had an apartment about the size of the bathroom back there, and 3-day notice on there every month because I just can't swing that $200, and because $200 is a decent party. So I reach in my pocket to get my house keys, and my chip was still in my hand. I had done all that work and cleanup and stuff with the chip in my hand, and it was all sweaty and nasty. And I thought to myself, you know what? This feels really right, So at that point, I actually got one of those blue books that you guys might have heard about a lot. So, and I started doing something weird like reading it, and I wasn't really big on the sponsor thing. I would ask different people different things till I heard what I wanted to hear. No, I'm kidding. And I have a lot of men in my life that I call up when I have problems, and it's kind of hard to bullshit them. You know what I mean? Because they've known me. Like Richard knows me, knows my wife. He's been around a long time, and Richard will say, you're full of shit, And so I'll call somebody else that likes me better and, get what I need. So, so I was at Ohio Street. I would do Ohio Street and then go to a promises meeting at 11:30 on a Friday night, because Friday nights were really hard for me. And so one night, I had about 6 months, and I got in my car, and I didn't talk to anybody at the meeting, and one of those guys had thrown a cigarette behind me after I swept up, and I didn't hit him with anything, so I was kind of pent up, and so I found myself parking in the parking lot of a bar in between Brotman and Ohio Street, because I just wanted one glass of draft beer in a frosted mug, because that sounded perfect. And it's like, one glass, what's the harm? And I had 6 months, and I was like, I'm sitting in that thing, and I'm thinking, there should be a meeting in between the two fucking meetings I should hit somewhere, and I'm like, why am I here? Why am I at this stage? And I thought, I got to get out of the parking lot. So I drove to the next meeting, and I was setting up, and I was talking to some kid who had 10 minutes of fucking sobriety, and we were setting up chairs, and I said, I was just parked in a fucking, parking lot, and I wanted to get a beer. And this guy looks at me and goes, sounds to me like you haven't done your 4-step. I was like, So, he never did get sober. He never did. He just disappeared off the planet. But he gave me my sobriety that day. So it's really weird, this book. Now, I didn't really have a sponsor, and I didn't have any humility enough to go and talk to anybody. So I did something really wacky. I went and I took that book and I started reading it with a highlighter, and everywhere it told me to do something, I'd highlight it, and I'd do it. And a funny thing happened. You know, after 6 hours, about 4 a.m., I had a 4-step. I had my first 4-step, you know? And it was as fearless and thorough as I was going to get at that point, you know? But again, I had this, and it felt right. You know, like I took some action. There's some dopey saying about faith without works is dead or some fucking thing like that you might want to check out, you know, but it's you know, for me, it's about acting myself, not acting myself into the right thing, but thinking myself into the right action. I got to take action. You know what I mean? And that's fucking backwards. I just said it backwards. So if I show up at a meeting, then that's taking action. You know, if I pick up a pencil, funny thing happens with resentments in me, and anger, and disappointment, and expectations with other people, which I'm sure it's just me, and you guys don't have any of that. But if by chance you ever have a situation where you want to fucking kill somebody besides yourself, or maybe even yourself, you know, and you pray on it, and you pray on it, and you pray on it, because I'm really big at praying and meditating. I love that, man. It really helps me, especially in the morning. I get, you know, it's like medicine for me in the morning, you know. I get in the shower. I love the shower. It's like a little temple. And I get grateful. And I say, thank you for not letting me be a fucking junkie today. You know what I mean? Thank you for this opportunity today. Thank you for the beautiful people in my lives. Thank you for my children. Let me be a better father. Let me be a better husband. Which probably wouldn't be too hard. But, you know, if my wife was here, she could get some testimonial. But, you know, I ask for these things because I don't wake up being these things. I don't wake up naturally wonderful. I know it's hard for you guys to imagine that, but trust me. So I ask for this every day, and it's like medicine. If I had cancer and the doctor said, here, man, here's a fucking bucket of pills. Take one of these pills every morning, and your cancer will go no further. You know, do you think I'd forget to fucking take a pill? I'd have a sign on the fucking bathroom, take the fucking pill, you know? Really, I would. So in the morning, it's that important for me to do that, because I find when I don't get in touch with a higher power in the morning, and I don't get in touch with the fact that I am grateful to be on this planet and not to be loaded, and to have the wonderful things in my life that I have, and to ask for help, because I don't wake up wanting to help everybody. Oh, it's like, oh, great, I get to go share my experience, strength, and hope today. It's like, fuck, I'd rather be home watching porn or something, you know what I mean? So, maybe not porn, but something similar. So anyway, if I don't do that by noon, I am fucking angry. I am grit teeth. Nobody is fucking driving right. You know what I mean? It's like the whole world goes, this guy is spiritually retarded today, so let's cut him off. You know what I mean? Let's all stop at Sepulveda for no reason. Okay? Let's box him in. He's got to be somewhere. This will put him over the edge, you know? So, you know, so if I don't do that, I really, you know, and it's hard to bring it back in after I get started, you know, if I don't plan it in the morning. So I did this 4-step. Let's jump back, shall we? Let's stay with me. And I do this 4-step. I carry it around for about 3 weeks. I really don't run into anybody I trust enough to read it to, okay? Because I got some good stuff in there. It's not like I was a fucking choir boy. So I go back to Ohio Street. I'm there to pick a friend of mine up, and I don't remember what night it was. And I remember seeing this guy, happy guy, you know, older than me, and I went up to him, and I had that thing in my pocket for some reason, and it was just burning a hole in my pocket. And I went up to him, and I go, you know what? I need to read my 4-step to somebody. And he looks at me, and he goes, oh, fucking great. You know? You know what I mean? Turns out the guy's got like 6 months, you know, but I don't care. I don't care, because I read it carefully. It says another human being, okay? I could have gone down to fucking USC and talked to somebody on life support for all, if I want to get all lawyer and technical, you know what I mean? So I read this to this man, and, you know, I pulled him across the street. He was just kind of fucking with me anyway. He was pretty cool. And he goes, you know what to do now? I go, yeah. I go home and read. And finally he goes, okay, we're done, you know? I'm like, cool, you know? since then, I've done a few others. I've done, you know, I could go on. I could talk about sobriety forever, and you guys could start beating on me and throw me out the front door. But as you can tell, I mean, I've spent time in jail. I have a lot of panels. I got to tell you that that service has really saved my life. I worked the cocaine hotline for about 8 years, and I loved it. You know when I wanted to work it? I wanted to work it the night before Christmas. And the phone calls you get the night before Christmas, like at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., when somebody has sold all the presents out from underneath the tree for the next hit, you know, and the sun's coming up and those fucking birds are singing. Yeah! Fucking birds, shotgun, go son, get the birds. You know, that made my life so much better, my first 5-6 years. You know, being of service, investing in a meeting. Man, if my dealer said, I had this Filipino dealer and he had a family, and if my dealer said, he'd call me up and say, I got this stuff, you know, and I go, okay, I'm coming over. And he says, but, you know, and then you start getting like diarrhea again. Okay, so, remember that? You got like that dope diarrhea before, you hang up the phone. I'm going to the bathroom. So, he called me up and said, you know what, I need a 6-pack of Heineken and I need some Pampers. And I'm like, what color Pampers you need, man? You know, for his kids, not for me. Come on. So, because I'm bringing something to the party, man, and I know if I bring a little extra, I get a little extra, you know? So when I come to the meeting, I do a little extra because I get a little extra, you know? I go to a meeting, I stack chairs. Like I said, it was just natural for me to just do it. When I came here, I found a meeting I liked. That fucker became my meeting, you know, because I'm the cleanup person. One of my best resentments, first meeting I was at, that Thursday night Cedars, they were changing secretaries. It was time for me to get an official meeting. I was gonna be the cleanup guy. Who fucking wants cleanup? Nobody. I've got it, right? This guy gets elected. Okay, I go right up to him after the election. I go, dude, I'm your cleanup guy. He goes, oh, I already gave that to somebody. I said, you were just fucking elected. You haven't even been secretary for 10 fucking seconds. You haven't even talked to anybody. And he's going, no, I talked to somebody before the meeting. I'm like, fuck you, man. So again, I did more cleanup than his fucking cleanup guy did for 3 years. You know what I mean? I was cleaning that place like spotless. And that's where my resentment came in and really helped me, you know? I was like running circles around his cleanup guy. I'm like, you know, check this out. You know? Forget it. And again, it became my meeting, man. It's like, you know, like my family, you know? It's just the way it's worked for me. And I mean, like I said, got sober, got married. God, you want to fucking work steps? Get married, okay? Jesus Christ. Here's a great tip. Marry somebody who's got more time than you. Oh, that's fun, okay? Oh. Then stop smoking together. Oh. You know what? I'm running out of time. I just love this meeting. It's energy. You guys are fantastic, and I'll never come back here again. No, I'm kidding. I love this meeting. It's really cool, and I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Richard, for asking me to speak.
Okay, this is how I prepare my drone for launching. I like to do it inside the cab of my truck so I'm not standing outside in the weather. To install the joysticks for control, up and down, right and left, powered on. I have an Android phone that I use to connect it to the drone with. And it's actually controlled through the iPhone, through an app. Oops, wrong way. It's actually controlled through the iPhone, or through this Android phone, through the app. It's actually controlled through the Android phone, through an app, and you connect it through this short connection right here.
Remote control connected.
Remote control's connected. So I pull out the drone. I have to extend the legs. Long legs extended first, then the short legs. Remove the gimbal protector. Set that aside, then power it on one short burst and one long burst. I lay it down. So I have to go to calibrate. So the drone's not connected yet. It shows you here as this drone gets disconnected, even though the remote's powered on. So the drone has to establish it's connected. So I go into the app to calibration mode. First I'll calibrate the remote controller. Start calibration. Out, in, out, in, up, down, and then this little wheel is to control the gimbal. So it's calibrated. Go to gimbal calibration, start calibration, and then it calibrates the gimbal. I don't know if that shows up. The gimbal's moving all over the place. Changes, you can see it on the video. And I'm calibrated to take off. It's acquired 7 satellites at the moment. There are 26 satellites up in the sky, which it has to acquire before you can take off. So it's connected. It's got enough satellites. This is white. I can go to press this little arrow button, swipe right to take off, and it would start the motors if I slid this to the right, but I'll wait till I get outside. Don't want to do it inside.